Good morning friends, new day, new project, and we have something right special in today. I've been looking forward to doing this one, and this has come through one of my regular clients, one of his friends, goes by the name of Tony Chin. He has sent me an absolutely wonderful Les Paul. Look at that. It's not a Gibson though, it's a Greco. I love these. Now let me tell you something, I've had this plugged in. I've not heard a better sounding guitar, even out of all my guitars, and I've got some great sounding guitars. It's amazing. It's got Duncan SH-5 in the bridge. Forget what he told me in the neck. He's told me, so I've got it all on text here. I'm just at the moment, we've been talking to each other this morning, and I've let him know a few things about, not about my concerns with this guitar, because there aren't really any major concerns, but things we've got to do. Now, it's come in for a complete refret. And we're going with a Hosco Super Jumbo wire, 3mm by 1.2, 3mm wide. It's nice fat wire, Japanese, it's 18% nickel silver, so nice and hard, so we'll get a lot of wear out of it. And that's going to be fine, but what I've noticed is, with the truss rod nut slackened more or less right off, is only the tiniest bit of relief. So, we need to get some bend in this neck. So I've talked to Tony this morning. I told him what I'm going to do is I'm going to clamp this neck, and I'm going to clamp it here, and at this end right here, and what we're going to do is we're going to put a clamp in the middle, we're going to tighten the clamp, and we're going to put some relief in the neck. I'm going to do it with a truss rod completely slack, not going to use any heat. I'm just going to clamp it against itself with slackened truss rod, and we're going to see if we can just get a little bit of relief in there, because it is more or less straight. This is with a nut slackened right off, and there's no relief in there. There's nothing. It's about 1/10 of a millimetre. We need to get more than that, because with a nut right off, we've still got a perfectly straight neck. So I've talked to him about that. I've talked to him about my concerns, and that's what we're going to do. He said, don't matter, whatever it costs, get it done, blah, 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 blah. I'm not going to charge him any extra for that. I've already quoted him a price, and we've agreed to a price within certain parameters. Other things I'm going to do to this guitar, well, it's got no truss rod cover. I do actually have one off a Heritage 335 or 555, which the old doesn't quite line up, but I can make this fit and it'll cover the other hole there. I'll fill the other hole in anyway. I'll probably just stick that on it. If I've got any more of this 3-ply stuff, I'll actually make one. I'm going to have a look at what shape the Greco ones are. And I'm not saying I'll make an exact shape, but I'll get something nice on there. The guitar itself, well, let's try and find out what model it is, because I did ask him this morning and he's told me, and so let's just scroll back. Right, there you go. Model number's a bit of an odd one. It's either an EG-500 or 800, not had it confirmed, but it's short. It's a Greco Les Paul Custom 1984 M, Mint Collection. M stands for Mint Collection in violin burst. So I will do some digging. It's got a serial is B841733. We know it being a Greco, but Japanese made. We know it also being a Greco, it's going to be every bit as good as a Gibson, if not better. In my opinion, better. But let me just say, I've had some really good Gibsons in here, and they are good guitars. But this is right up there with them. And don't forget, I used to work for an importer of Heritage guitars. The thing is, Heritage guitars, I don't rate them myself. I don't say they're any better or worse than Gibson. Not that Gibson are bad, not that Heritage are bad, but this is right up there. This is as good as anything I've ever had in. Absolutely beautiful guitar. The wood, look at this. I don't know what he paid for this, but if you paid £1,000, you wouldn't have been ripped off, would you? If you paid £1,500, you wouldn't have been ripped off. So what an absolutely wonderful guitar. So let's talk about what's what with it. Right, well, it's gone. Doesn't have the scratch plate on, which is never a bad thing, is it? It's a 5-ply scratch plate. I don't think I've got a 5-ply, any 5-ply plastic in, so I can't make a 5-ply truss rod cover, but we'll have a go. We'll make a 3-ply one. So the electrics is changed the pickups himself. We've got a Duncan SH-5 in the bridge. Bear with me. The neck is the stock Screaming 82, and the bridge is a Duncan SH-5. I know there are a set of Elixir 1052s in the part. Yeah, they are. They're going on it. So I'll find out what tuner he wants. I imagine he wants E flat, because it was tuned to E flat. I'll text him back about that in a minute. What else we're going to do? The electrics, it says, is done, so there's no problem there. I will tighten everything. It will get the complete setup. Now the fret wire in there looks to be about 2.6, 2.7 mil wide. I'll confirm that in a second. I'll just get the calipers out and we'll have a quick measure. I guess I'd say about 2.7. Oh, it's actually quite wide. It's exactly at 2.7. It's saying 2.67 or something on the dial there. Where are we? 2.66. So it's 2.7 wide. Pretty good at this. You know, when you do as many fret jobs as I do, you can just look at fret wide. But yeah, it's 2.7. I've been across there with a fret rocker, and there are about 7 high frets. But that doesn't matter because they're coming out. Another problem area for me is the nut. The nut's coming out, it's going to be replaced. It might be a bit tricky to get out because it looks like it's got a bit of lacquer over it, but we'll sort that out. The action above the first fret, this is down to more or less 0.15 of a millimetre. That's almost, it's like a 1/7 of a millimetre. It's too low in my opinion. I go at the lowest 0.3 on the high strings and 0.4 millimetre on the bass strings. We could even probably get to 0.3 mil all the way across, but this is 0.15, it's a lot lower. It's the reason we're getting fret buzz and ringing along the whole length. One, we can't get any relief in the neck, which shouldn't be a major problem, but two, the action here is too low. The nut is cut too low in my opinion. Also, the action at the 12th fret was too low. It was down to just over 1 millimetre. It's no wonder you're getting fret buzz everywhere. I've bored it up to 1.5 millimetres on the 12th fret. That's the top of the fret to the bottom of the string. Just over 1.5 on the low E and exactly 1.5 on the high E. We're now getting a better ring. Still a bit of buzz, but that's because the neck is so straight. Still getting a little better because the neck's so straight. So we need to get some relief into that neck. So once I've got all the strings off, got everything out of the way, I don't need to remove the tuners because they're not in the way of where I'll level. So what I'm going to be doing is, we're going to be getting it clamped back as the first job I'm going to do. I'm going to find a spare table, I'll move my neck jig off there and we'll get it clamped up on there. And I'm going to clamp it for 24 hours and hopefully we'll get a little bit of relief from there. If not, if just by clamping we don't get any relief in there, what I am going to do is I'm going to treat it with a little bit of heat. And I say heat, I don't mean anything hot. I mean I'm going to get a hairdryer on hot, on the hottest thing. It's not going to be that hot. And just blow some heat over the neck, leave it blowing for about an hour just to get a little bit of heat through the wood, just to get into the fibres. We'll attack it only from the top. I don't want to be going through the lacquer or eating anything up or melting anything. But that's what I've decided to do. Hardware on here, well, it's obviously got a brand new bridge and tailpiece because they look brand new. I'd imagine it's something like, I don't know, maybe it's Tone Pros, maybe it's gone with Japanese, maybe it's, I don't know, it could be, what's the word, not Hosco, Goto, could probably be Goto. I'll ask him about that. Anyway, the guitar itself is beautiful, but I can't do any work on it today. Any neck work, which I wanted to do. I was going to start it today, but it's in no rush to get the guitar. So this is just an appraisal of the guitar. It's a 1984 Greco Mint Series did you say G-500? B-500, B-800. I will go, like I say, I'll go do some digging. Bear with. EG-500 or EG-800, not had it confirmed. Greco Les Paul Custom 1984M Mint Collection in violin burst. What an absolutely beautiful guitar. I might have to plug this in again in a minute because I've plugged it in. It's just, whoa, it's just so metal. I've tuned it into regular to standard, E standards. This could be part of the problem why we're not getting enough relief in the neck. Maybe it's not so much down tuning. Maybe with strings we need to go with a heavier string. You change gauge of string, you go up to something like a 1154, you're going to put an extra 5 kilograms of pressure on that neck and it's going to pull that neck round a bit more. I might actually suggest that. But this is it. This is part one of the video, and I'm going to leave you with the image of the guitar while I finish it off. Look at that. What an absolutely stunning guitar. How much would an equivalent Gibson looking like this cost you? £2 grand? Who knows? What an absolute, oh, the weight of it as well. I love heavy guitars. Absolutely stunning. I'd love this guitar myself. Absolutely beautiful. So that's it. So that's, you know, that's all I'm going to do on this video. I'm going to post this video up on YouTube. I'm going to let Tony know I've had a look at the guitar. I've given it my appraisal. I've suggested what I think we ought to do with the neck. So I'm going to crack on with it. I'm going to clamp it back anyway, and we'll see where we are in 24 hours time. So stay tuned, come back for part 2, and I'll see you soon.